Alright, I know I said the Taiwan WBC qualifier preview is coming before the end of the week, but there are still some unanswered questions with Taiwan's roster, so plan on that for the middle of next week. Qualifiers don't start till next Friday, so no hurry. While I am pretty psyched up for the qualifiers, the one thing still bothering me is the fact that there are 4 fewer teams this time than there were last time. The WBC is supposed to be getting bigger and bigger every time, but this feels like a step back. I don't mean that I want 8 to 10 teams in each qualifier, that might be a little too much. 6 countries worked alright last time. 4 countries this time, that might even work better. But they should have gone with an idea that was being floated around last year, to hold pre-qualifiers, so that more countries would have a shot at qualifying. The best way to do that would have been to hold regional qualifiers, one in Europe, one in Africa, etc. Any number of teams, but try to be as inclusive as possible. The 4 teams that were relegated from the last WBC, Colombia, Nicaragua, China, and Taiwan, automatically earn a seat in the final stage of the qualifiers. The other 4 spots go to the champions of the 4 regional qualifiers: Europe, Africa, the Americas, and Asia and the Pacific. Pre-qualifiers would have given more countries a chance to be a part of the WBC system, which is more exciting than just competing in a regular regional tournament. No, Belgium is probably not going to beat Germany. Honduras won't beat Brazil. But it's always more exciting when qualification to the biggest tournament of all is on the line. People will get really psyched up when their countries are competing for a spot in the FIFA World Cup, even though the chances of them actually making it are very slim. It's that slim chance that really drives the excitement. The 7 countries I'll be talking about today were robbed of the chance to qualify for the WBC. If there were pre-qualifiers, there's a really good chance they would have made it to the final qualifier. If they were in the final qualifier, odds would be against them, but it would still be possible. Maybe they could have made a run to the WBC. We'll never know. Starting with the biggest snub of all, Argentina. Look, if you don't win in the qualifier and you just get steamrolled by the qualifying teams, don't complain when you're not invited next time. Well, if anyone has a right to complain, it's Argentina. They did win. Twice. They were 2-2. The only 2 teams they lost to were Panama and Nicaragua, the 2 teams that qualified for the WBC. And they only lost to Nicaragua by 1 run. Panama is already qualified for the next WBC. Nicaragua is back in the qualifier, but they're one of the favorites to qualify again. So what did Argentina do wrong? Nothing. Everything you're supposed to do to ensure you get another invite. That was their first time in a WBC qualifier. Expectations were low. They weren't supposed to beat New Zealand, but they did. They certainly weren't supposed to give Nicaragua such a scare, but they did. Then last November they won the South American Baseball Championship, beating Brazil 2-1 in the final. Brazil previously made it to the WBC, and they are competing in the second qualifier in a couple weeks. So Argentina, with the limited chances they've been given, have done everything they possibly can. Everything short of actually qualifying, that is. No reason for leaving them out here. Really hope they're brought back next time. We need to see baseball grow in South America, not just in Venezuela and northern Colombia, the only places on the continent where baseball traditionally has a strong following. Give a country like Argentina every chance they can get to qualify for the WBC, so that one day they can go up against the teams up north, like Mexico, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. Make baseball a Latin American thing, not just a Caribbean thing. Pakistan. Okay, this team did not win at the last WBC qualifier. They were 0-2. Blown out by Nicaragua. Again, Nicaragua played in the WBC. Doesn't look so bad losing to them, even if it is a bit lopsided. And they lost to Argentina 7-4. But by the end of the tournament, a loss to Argentina didn't look so bad, especially a loss by only 3 runs. If Pakistan competed in the qualifier now, I wouldn't expect them to qualify. It'd be a long shot. But what makes their exclusion so frustrating is that it takes away their best chance at facing superior competition and getting better. If you saw the Arab Classic last November, you know they have nothing left to prove in their region. They dominated their neighboring countries. And this is nothing new. They've regularly done the same thing at the West Asia Baseball Cup. The Arab Classic just gave it more exposure. So Pakistan baseball was in a rough spot where they were too good in their own part of the world and not good enough to seriously make a run at qualifying for the WBC. But with a lack of funding to get them out to more tournaments, they couldn't get much of that in-between competition that'll really help them to become a better team. The WBC qualifier was a chance for them to face better competition, a chance to make themselves better. Maybe they don't qualify, but maybe they avoid the mercy rule versus Nicaragua this time. Maybe they take Argentina to extra innings. An improvement. That's what they want to see in this stage of their development, and they're not going to see that kind of improvement by beating up on their neighbors. France, the highest ranked country not in the WBC or a WBC qualifier. At number 21 in the world, they are ranked higher than 3 countries in the WBC qualifiers, and higher than one country already qualified for the WBC. No better way to tell the world that your rankings don't mean anything, I guess. But I wouldn't say the rankings are the best reason to include them in the qualifiers. The real reason is this country is really starting to turn things around. They haven't helped themselves with their performance in the past qualifiers. 2 times, no wins, 4 losses. But now we're starting to see young French players with more talent than they've ever seen before. We're especially seeing a lot of French baseball players committing to U.S. colleges, major colleges, whereas before there were none. Not too long ago, as a matter of fact. This is all happening recently. A baseball program on its way up. Wrong time to stop including them in the qualifiers. Curaçao. Okay, they still get to play as members of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, but all the talk last year was about Curaçao, maybe with Aruba and other Dutch islands too, competing independently. And that would have been so much more exciting to watch. We all know what the true strength of the Dutch team is, the Caribbean players, especially those from Curaçao. So a Curaçao national team probably would have had no problem qualifying for the WBC. Then we could get a dream matchup in the WBC where it's Curaçao versus the Netherlands. Sure, the 2 countries might be stronger when they're united as one, but seeing the 2 play against each other would be so much more exciting to watch. It could also make more people aware of Curaçao's existence. Baseball fans know Curaçao, but a lot of casual fans tune into the WBC. Curaçao would really stand out as a country you just don't normally see in other international tournaments, like when you watch the Rugby World Cup and see the small Pacific Island nations. And it's just fun to watch an island of 150,000 people taking on countries with over 100 million people. Uganda. At number 48 in the world, this would be the lowest ranked country included in a qualifier. But I figure if they make an exception for South Africa, why not for Africa's second ranked country too? Anyway, there's a reason Uganda is just barely in the top 50. It's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of funding. They're not earning any points because they're not participating in any tournaments. Right now there are 4 Ugandan players signed with major league teams. 2 more recently played in the major league system. 4 more are playing independent ball in Japan. And 3 are playing in U.S. colleges. So 10 players with recent professional baseball experience, 3 playing college ball. They've got the talent, they just don't get the chance to show it off. South Africa's probably still the best baseball team in Africa, but Uganda may have the best young talent, and they may be capable of upsetting South Africa, but they haven't been given the chance in recent years. Like Pakistan, Uganda has nothing left to prove against neighboring countries, and no chances to prove themselves in the lands beyond. Individuals are proving themselves abroad, and that's starting to put Ugandan baseball on the map. But it would be nice if we could see that reflected on the senior national team's performance. Philippines, number 25 in the world. Behind France, they are the second highest ranked country not included in the WBC or a WBC qualifier. And like France, they didn't do themselves any favors in the past. 2 qualifiers and only 1 win. They were scheduled to take part in a qualifier for the 2021 WBC, but after the delay, they were left out. As the number 1 team in Southeast Asia, they deserve the chance to prove themselves against the world. Also, they're the number 5 team in Asia. The top 4 in Asia were already qualified for the last WBC, but the Philippines couldn't even get an invitation to a qualifier. Just doesn't seem right. New Zealand. This country actually made it to the final of the qualifier in 2013, picked up another win in 2017, but then lost twice to make an early exit in 2023. They lost by 5 to Brazil, then by 3 to Argentina. Not really bad losses. They could have made some improvements over the last couple years and made a serious run at it this time around. But no chance. And it's too bad. New Zealand lost its only professional baseball team a couple years ago. They no longer have that team to cheer on. At least they still could have had the national team with a shot at qualifying for the world's biggest international baseball tournament, but now they don't have that either. So that's it, 7 countries that should be in a qualifier for the 2026 WBC that were sadly left out. What do you think? Do these 7 countries deserve a shot? Any other countries that should be included here? Or are you fine with the 8 teams they've got? Leave a comment and let us all know what you think. Anyway, that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.